This episode features 3 campus legends, all from Hong Kong, all told by people who actually studied there. Some of these stories have been passed down for decades. Others? The first story begins at a hillside university. Quiet, beautiful, far from the city. One of my seniors swore this happened to him. It was exam season, around 1 a.m. He'd just left the college library and was walking back to his dorm. The path was completely silent. Only the crunch of gravel under his feet and the insects humming in the trees. He took the shortcut through CUHK path. Up ahead, near the bend, he noticed someone sitting alone on a stone bench. A girl in a white dress, her head down, a long braid falling over her shoulder, gently swaying. Thinking she might be upset, he walked closer and asked, "Are you okay?" She didn't move. What he saw has haunted him ever since. Then as she slowly lifted her head, there were no features, just smooth skin, like a mask that hadn't been finished. Something red stained her neck, and the braid still clung to her side, dark and wet. There's also another rumor that's been passed around. A bus driver, doing the late-night shuttle shift from the lower campus. It was nearly 2 a.m. The roads were empty. The engine rumbled in the silence, and the only light came from the dim bulbs overhead. Halfway through the drive, he checked the rearview mirror and froze. A dark shape sat in the back row. Still. He called out, "Last stop coming up?" No answer. He pulled over, turned around. The seat was empty, but on the cushion, a few strands of wet, black hair. And then there's something a classmate once told me. It happened during midterms. Everyone was tired, burnt out, barely sleeping. That night, she stayed behind at the student lounge to finish a report. And by the time she packed up, it was almost 2 a.m. She decided to take the long path back to her dorm. The campus was silent. Not peaceful silent, just empty. As she passed CUHK path, she slowed down. Something felt off. That part of campus always had a weird energy at night. The old swings, the crooked trees, the slope that always felt too dark. She never liked going past it. But that night, something made her stop. One swing was moving, back and forth. The others, completely still. And then she saw it, someone sitting on the swing. A girl in white, head down, long braid hanging forward. She told me she stepped closer without even realizing. Maybe out of concern, maybe just curiosity. And then the girl lifted her head. No face. Just smooth, bloody skin where the eyes, nose, and mouth should have been. And that braid still hanging there, soaked red. She said she ran until her legs gave out. But the worst part? 4 nights after that, just as she was falling asleep, she'd hear a voice whisper in her ear.
"Are you not afraid of me?"
So why do so many people claim to have seen the same thing? The girl in white, the long braid, the missing face. Some believe it traces back to a tragedy from decades ago. Back in the 1960s, Hong Kong was a different place. Poorer, quieter, and still forming its identity. That was also a time when people risked everything to get here. Some crossed on foot from Shenzhen. Some swam through open sea. And others hid inside freight trains. The Braided Girl was said to be one of them. Her relatives arranged for her to stow away in a livestock freight car. No one really knows where she was headed. Maybe Kowloon, maybe to meet someone in Taipei. But as the train passed through the hills near a newly built university, she saw police waiting. She jumped, and in that split second, her braid got caught in the metal hinge of the carriage door. Her scalp and part of her face was torn off instantly. They say she didn't die right away. She crawled from the tracks into the woods, bleeding, barely alive. She made it to a tree, and never got up again. Days later, her body was found beneath that tree. Face gone, braids still intact. Since then, hikers near those tracks have reported strange sounds. Soft sobbing from the trees, like someone lost in the dark. Others say they've seen a girl in an old-school uniform, slowly wandering the path, searching for something she never got back. That was the story of the Braided Girl. And the next story begins quietly late at night. When people talk about university ghost stories, most immediately think of the Braided Girl. I used to think that was the scariest story, until I heard another one, whispered quietly by older students, about a bowl of oxtail soup. It happened years ago, in one of university's older dormitories. Back then, the university was far more conservative than it is now. Public displays of affection were frowned upon. Rumors spread fast. So the couple, two medical students, kept their relationship a secret. Their love was quiet and private. They didn't hold hands in public or call attention to themselves. They just exchanged smiles in the corridor, shared quiet moments, then went their separate ways to study. She was thoughtful and gentle, and loved cooking. He was calm, respectful, and focused on his studies. Like many dorms, the girls lived on the upper floor, and boys lived below. The university believed this minimized inappropriate interactions, a reflection of the conservative culture at the time. They saw each other during the day, but at night they studied alone in their rooms. There were no mobile phones, no SMS, not even pagers. So their only nightly connection was a bowl of oxtail soup. The girl knew her boyfriend loved oxtail soup. He once said it reminded him of home. Every night, without a word, she would lower a steaming bowl of soup to his window using a string. He would receive it quietly, drink it slowly, and feel warmth spread through his body. Then came exam season. They agreed not to meet for a while to fully concentrate on studying. But she missed him, so she kept cooking the soup, and every night, she still lowered it to his window, a quiet ritual of care. He drank every drop, more slowly than before, savoring it. A few days later, exams ended. He decided it was time to thank her. He went upstairs and knocked. No one answered. Feeling uneasy, he asked a neighboring room. The girl's roommate opened the door. You don't know? She passed away a few days ago. The night before exams began. Sudden illness. He stood frozen in the hallway, his legs weak, his mind blank. One thought echoed in his head. Then, who's been giving me soup these past few nights? In Chinese culture, soup is more than just food. It's warmth, that it's care, that it's love, unspoken but deeply felt. In many Chinese families, especially older generations, people don't always say, "I love you." Instead, they ask, "Have you eaten yet? Do you want some soup?" For the girl in this story, making oxtail soup every night wasn't just routine. It was how she said, "I'm thinking of you. I'm still here." Years passed. People forgot the story. Then, one night, a new male medical student moved into the same dorm. He was studying late when he heard a faint clinking outside his window. Curious, he looked out and saw a metal thermos, tied to a string, slowly descending. Inside was steaming hot oxtail soup. He was startled, but more curious than afraid. He opened the lid and sniffed. It smelled amazing. Maybe, he thought, a girl upstairs had a crush on him. Maybe this was her way of saying hello. He drank the soup, slowly, smiling. The next morning, he went upstairs and found the matching room. "I got your soup last night. Thank you. Would you like to have dinner sometime?" The girl looked confused. What soup? I don't even know you, and I don't know how to cook. That moment chilled him to the bone. Not fear, but something colder. Like the soup, which should not exist in the world of the living. He never opened the window again. The soup never came back. But he kept thinking about that night. A week later, he dropped out of medical school and left the dorm. No one knows if he really saw a ghost, or if it was just the stress. But ever since he left, that dorm room has remained empty. The university eventually decided to keep the unit vacant, quietly sealing it off from future residents. The next story isn't about love. It's about technology. An engineering student who helped the wrong person. He was an electrical engineering student. Quiet, focused, always more comfortable with wires than words. Even before university, he was already building his own circuits at home, assembling his own circuit boards. After winning an award in a school competition, his confidence took off. He started to believe he was the best on campus, maybe even better than the seniors. Soon, classmates began asking for help. He helped friends with projects, then even strangers. Then came the offers, $50 here, $100 there, to finish their assignments. He took them all. Until one day, he met a stranger. A pale-looking boy with vacant eyes approached him softly and asked, "Do you know how to make a time delay circuit board?" At first, he ignored him. The guy wasn't from engineering. He looked strange. Something felt off. A few nights later, he bumped into the same guy again in a dim hallway. This time, the boy was more sincere. He didn't know how to build a delay circuit, and begged for help. Feeling a bit of sympathy, the student finally agreed. "Fine," he said. "Once it's ready, I'll bring it to your dorm." The boy gave a room number, room 111. Wait, the student thought, does that floor even have a 111? He shrugged it off. That week, he threw himself into work. Soldering, testing, checking voltages. After 6 nights, it was done. The next morning, he took the completed board to that dorm floor. But when he turned the corner, he stopped in his tracks. Room 109, room 110, room 112. No room 111. He walked up and down between 109 and 112, looking again and again. There was no door, no trace. Room 111 didn't exist. Confused, he went back to his room, circuit still in hand. Maybe the guy would come find him again. Days passed. Nothing. Then, one night, his senior noticed the circuit on his desk. "What's this?" "Oh, that? Some weird guy asked me to build it. Said he lives in room 111. The senior froze. His face went pale. "Burn it, now." The student frowned. He thought the senior was overreacting, maybe even jealous. The senior leaned in and said quietly, "Room 111 hasn't existed in years." Then he told him the story. Years ago, room 111 was real. Back in the 1980s, in the basement of dorm, room 111 housed 2 students. One from electrical engineering, the other studying medicine. Both were quiet and hardworking. They shared the space peacefully. But the engineering student was different. He was a genius, had won invention awards, created a wearable that could track heart rate in real time, modified fans, enhanced radios, even built his own keyboard. Then something changed. He became silent, hollow-eyed. People heard him muttering,
"If the voltage is right, the line won't break, just like people."
Others said he whispered,
Dying isn't hard. What's hard is precision.
One night, while his med student roommate was studying elsewhere, the engineer stayed behind in their room. He used what he knew best: batteries, wires, an alarm clock, a soldering kit. With frightening calm, he built a delayed self-electrocution device. Every voltage was precisely measured. The circuit did what it was built to do. He never moved again. And the room has been quiet ever since. His roommate came back the next morning, saw him lying there, and thought he was asleep. By nightfall, he realized the truth. From that day on, the med student was never the same. He talked to himself constantly, muttering, "If I came back sooner, if I'd seen the signs, I could have saved him." He started acting strangely. He started saying there were noises at night in room 111. Sometimes, a voice whispering from the corner. Some say he had a breakdown. Others say he saw something that night and couldn't forget it. Eventually, he dropped out, left the university. No one's heard from him since. After the incident, the university renumbered the rooms. They said it was to calm residents. But in truth, room 111 was sealed. No one was ever assigned there again. The senior stared at the board on the student's desk, face grave. The person you helped wasn't human. He paused, then added, "It was probably him." That same night, the student took the board outside and burned it. Didn't ask questions. You might be wondering, why did the senior ask him to burn the circuit board? Well, in traditional Chinese culture, burning something isn't about destroying it. It means sending it. See, the belief is that when people die, they don't go to heaven. That's only for gods and immortals. Most souls go to the underworld, a place where they wait to be reborn. And while they're waiting, they still need things. So, the living burn offerings. Paper money, paper houses, even paper iPhones or Teslas. The idea is, when you burn it, the smoke carries it over to the spirit world. That's why you'll see people burning paper that says, 10 billion hell dollars. Because in that world, there's no inflation, just generosity. So when the senior told him to burn the circuit board, it wasn't to get rid of it, it was to give it back, to the spirit that had claimed it. Like the story? Hit like, share, and tell me what you think. Want more? Subscribe and turn on the bell. See you next time.